This is Pastor Karita Mbagara coming to you live through CITAM ChurchOnline. I want us to discuss today the fact that every position, especially of leadership, is temporarily held. In this world, we will find that we will exist for a period. There comes a time when we are either retrenched, retired, or we actually expire and we have to leave the position we are in. Even in real life, we will have one day to exit. Consequently, it's important for us to be effecting a plan that will ensure that we leave a good legacy. Now, when I talk of a good legacy, it starts at the point of making sure that there is a smooth transition when we leave the position that we are holding, not all, but and there is continuity when we have left. And consequently, I want to urge us to start thinking about how we can build a good legacy at the home front, at the church, or even at the workplace. Let me illustrate this with some few examples from the Bible. 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1 to 7, there is a story about a woman who came to the prophet Elisha. And she said, "My husband, who was God-fearing, has died. And now the creditors have come to ask for their payment. And because I am unable to pay, they want to sell my children." Now, that man, whose name we don't know, had a good legacy. He was a God-fearing person. But on one front, he was failing. He had failed to provide for his family, and there was not going to be continuity, a good continuity, following his death. I want to say, consequently, that when we are building legacy, it's not just on one front, it's on all fronts. Another example that I want to cite is that of Moses. When Moses was living, he had mentored a young man by the name of Joshua, who went on to do great and mighty military exploits in his lifetime. We also know that Joshua was a very godly man, because in Joshua chapter 24, verse 15, he said to the people of Israel that he and his house, they were going to serve the Lord. And he called the children of Israel to make a choice as to who they were going to serve. But what is sad about Joshua is that after he died, there is a problem in terms of leadership. He did not prepare somebody to actually follow in his footsteps, in spite of the fact that he himself had been beneficiary of the fact that Moses had taken care of him. But maybe just to speak about the success story, I want to consider the story of Jesus. When Jesus came into this world, he was very focused. He was focused especially on two things. The first one, that he had come to die. That was his purpose. But beyond that, he ensured that he had 12 disciples that he walked with and prepared them so that they would take up his mission after he had left the world. Such should be the example we follow, that we pursue our own purpose, but we have others that are going to follow us and are going to ensure that there is continuity in what we have been doing. I think another example to cite is that of Paul, who at the end of his life, he is writing to Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2, he tells him, "The things you have seen me do in the presence of many people, I want you also to practice them. And not only practice them, make sure you teach other reliable men." In other words, not only have I mentored you, I want you to mentor other people. I want to urge you and urge myself to mentor people that will take up the responsibilities that we have. This way, we will be ensuring that our legacy is enduring. This is particularly important in the home front, where we want our families to continue and continue in a good way. Not a bad legacy, not an ugly legacy, but a beautiful one. It's also important in the work of the Lord, in church, so that the ministry of the kingdom will continue. But it's also important in the place of work. One of the things that business people have been accused of is that when they start a business, they want to keep everything to themselves, and they don't, especially those that are entrepreneurs that are running their own businesses. They don't teach their children. And as soon as the business person passes on, the business that may have been thriving just collapses. That is not a good legacy that you would be building. I want to know, what are you going to do to change the direction that you have been going if it was not the right one? And I want to urge us to think about this and make sure that we are building something that has continuity. May the Lord bless you and keep you as you think about this. Get in touch with us through the listed social media that will follow hereafter. Thank you.